Hey everyone, I'm calling here, or rather recording from northern Arizona, somewhere deep in the national forest, taking Leo for a hike. It's beautiful out here. Yeah, I just want to drop in. I usually don't do these selfie videos very often, but considering the times we're in, obviously it's intensifying. Obviously it's pretty crazy out there. It can be very overwhelming. It is very overwhelming for a lot of people, right? Especially with this information overload, with this whole pandemic, the vax and all of that. The vax injuries, deaths are increasing. Taylor Hawkins, let me put it this way, didn't die of a conventional drug overdose, but he got the booster shot right before they went on tour in South America. Then we have the whole Ukraine war psyop going, what's going on over there, right? All of a sudden everybody needs to stand up for Ukraine, the sanctions against Russia, Putin, the evil man, the invader, the evil in persona. Is he taking out the deep state, or is he controlled opposition? What's really going on? Is he in cahoots with Klaus Schwab and the Great Reset, or not? All of that. Very hard to discern in this day and age with everything else that's going on. Inflation, economic meltdown, food shortages. Even the Biden puppet came up announcing the New World Order, and that the food shortages will be very hard. Or will be, what did he say? I can't remember, but he definitely mentioned it. And can easily put us into a fear, right? Always remember the matrix, these forces operate on the fear frequency. That's the easiest way to control you, it's the easiest way to disempower you, and the easiest way to feed off of you, right? Soul harvesting, feeding off your creative energy, disempowering you. And so I'm here to remind you that you're more powerful than they are, and more powerful than most likely you think you are. But for that power to come up, to tap into, we need to do the inner work. You guys will follow my work. And me and Laura, we talk about this a lot, right? The inner work, the great work on all levels, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to really connect to that essence, to this, the divine within, our true being, the source of all creativity and power. So we come on alignment of divine will, which expresses itself uniquely through you. So the battle is ultimately ego versus soul. Many of us, we can mistake many things for the soul, which is not the soul, the fake desire soul, as Sri Aurobindo called it, and all that. So it takes a high level of being to really connect to our soul being, which the powers that be, the anti-divine forces, try to separate us from. They try to eject the soul, even through the vax and all of that. In our recent podcast, I brought up a very fascinating research paper based on Rudolf Steiner's work, proving more and more how the soul is being dislodged through the vaccine and all of that. But not all is lost. It affects everyone differently. But again, it comes down to really that inner alignment. So I want to give you guys a little suggestion, some tips on how to do that, and especially the foundation. I get a lot of people ask me, or send emails who came across my work just recently, or just started the path, who started to get quote unquote red pilled, but they realize deeper work is necessary. So it's not just about pointing out what's out in the world and screaming on social media and finding out the truth intellectually, because it's impossible. Right? As I mentioned, it's a mental overload of all the information out there. So the most important part of sincere self-work, the foundation of it all, is self-observation, right? To be able to observe yourself. We are lost. We identify too easily. We identify, with our ego personality. We identify with our feelings and emotions. We become very reactive. So we need to establish the observer to create a distance between what we see and observe and our reactions, so we don't mechanically react, but consciously respond. Because mechanical reaction can keep us also in the trap of the revolutionary mind, as Gurdjieff talked about, and then engaging in mechanical activism, project our shadow externally, and just get distracted by the shadows on the wall, right? As in Plato's allegory in the cave. So what does it mean to self-observe, right? To really look at yourself as if you're a different person, to become aware and conscious, to create this awareness gap. Basic example: something upsets you, somebody triggers you, it creates an emotion, a feeling, an upset, anger. Observe yourself. Oh, hold on, there's something happening. Create this self-remembering, as Gurdjieff talked, that on all levels. For what's happening in your body, you're feeling certain, upset. Am I tummy, in my chest. I feel my heart rate increasing. I feel anger coming up and all of that. Be curious about it. Inquire within. Why is that? What does it remind me of? How does it come that I feel so angry and upset about what's happening? Not against the world, but I'm just talking about relationships and all of that. And the more we create this awareness, the less we identify with these feelings. So the key point in emotional processing is not to deny the emotion, not to disassociate into the head, not to suppress, right? Not to check out, so to speak, but allow ourselves to feel the feelings without identifying them. And that's easier said than done. Even for myself, I'm still struggling with that. I can easily get identified with my feelings. Then I'm saying, I'm angry, I'm this, I'm that. But you are not that anger, you're not that, right? So it's allowing ourselves to feel the feelings without identifying that. Because your true self is beyond all of that. So when we can withhold our mechanical reaction, we create what's in alchemical science is called the fire within the magnetic center, right? The friction we need for alchemical transmutation. And that's very tricky. It's not about suppressing, as I mentioned, not about denying, not about escaping into the head, no, not falling into spiritual bypassing, but allowing ourselves to feel everything without identifying with it. So that's one of the main foundations, to observe yourself and take responsibility for everything you feel, right? We easily like to blame others for the way we feel. That's how the woke ideology, the woke cult, that's pathological anti-divine ideology is based on, right? The victim consciousness, to blame others for the way they feel. No, we need to take responsibility for everything we feel. And that's how we transmute it. That's how we transcend our being to come alignment of our essence and tap into our creative potential, and then realize, hold on, I'm more powerful than I think I am. I can really engage in a creative process because we're here to create a new world, a new earth. This is the time of transition. I've recently wrote an article about this. Many esoteric traditions have talked about it. So there's an opportunity. All right? As I always say, know the enemy, be aware of the agenda, but don't feed it with your fear projected into the future. Oh my God, food shortages and all of that. Yes, take care of yourself, but it's easy to get trapped in the reptilian survival mind, which also keeps you in this lower frequency, attracts some of these other forces and keeps you stuck in the matrix, really. You don't want to go the opposite end and take the New Age pill and just force positivity, so to speak. No, the darkness needs to be made conscious of, not only in the world, but within ourselves. So shadow work is always the name of the game. But yeah, with all this being said, I've also had a great talk recently with Laura, my wife. We're going to, I think, do a podcast episode about that, about sincerity and discernment and the will. It's very much needed in this day and age. And discernment is very much discerning information, what teaching and whatnot. And discernment, your discernment is not just about critical thinking. There's much needed logic or intuition, but intuition is also tricky, right? We can mistake many things for intuition. It takes a lot of works, embodiment, soul individualization to really connect to your true intuition and not filtered through your bias. But discernment is intimately linked to sincerity. The more you're truly sincere, integrally sincere from your soul being, to truly want to awaken without the ego bargaining, without wanting anything out of it, but for the awakening itself, for the divine itself, without any expectation, the more you're truly sincere, the more you will gravitate to choosing information that's aligned with truth, right? The less sincere we are, the more our own stuff comes in, the more we lie to ourselves, like to take shortcuts, mistake wishful thinking for our intuition or good field teachings for the truth and all of that, the more we can easily get distracted. There's a whole new revival of New Age nonsense out there. I thought the New Age stuff was already done in 2012 and all the predictions are over. Never happened, no UFO disclosure, no ascension, all of that. But there's a whole new revival with people talking about light codes and channel material. No, we need to stay embodied and really practical. So it's a jungle out there, it's a maze. So again, the more truly sincere you are, the higher level your discernment, you're more connected to your intuition. And as the saying goes, as Sri Aurobindo really said, if you take one sincere step towards the divine will take 10 steps towards you, and there's all the guidance there. So have the faith and have the trust. And with being said, I gotta attend to my little puppy Leo here. He's where is he? Down here. He's getting hungry. Need to feed him. We have to go back. But Laura and I, we start the next round of our 12-week intensive group coaching program, Time of Transition, Embodied Soul Awakening, April 11th. So we have 5 spots left. That's it. And it's by application only. So if you're interested to go in this journey of really combining in-depth inner work based on the fourfold approach of holistic self-work in context of the outer work, understanding the forces, the cosmic forces, evolutionary astrology, the occult forces, divine forces, and how it all works, and how help you to step into your own inner power, right? To help you come in alignment with your deeper purpose and creative power, right? That's really what it comes down. You have something unique to contribute during this time of transition. We all came here for this very reason, right? As I always say, it's intense. These are intense times to be alive, but also exciting times to be alive. So if you're welcome to join us, go to my website, veilofreality.com, and you can go there, see what the program is about, apply. We have still 5 spots left, or go straight to wakenapply.com, straight to the application, and we'll get back to you. And but whatever you choose, take care of yourself and have the faith, have the trust. Keep your spirits up. Much love.